Welcome to part 5 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel Loner Deck Battles Limit 1 Festival Edition. Okay, so before I begin the duels, just like yesterday's video, I'll go over the walkthrough for the Fairies deck, or rather the Agents deck, with a couple of other generic fairies. Anyway, so, of course, the fairies have some decent abilities on their own, or at least a lot of them do. But for a lot of the agents, it really is best to have one of the Sanctuary and Sky cards on your field, or even the graveyard for a few of them, but definitely on the field is best. And you do have a few ways of either getting to Sanctuary in the Sky or having a card on the field that says it's Sanctuary in the Sky. So, the cards that make themselves Sanctuary in the Sky are a few besides the field spell. Sanctum of Parshath is probably the easiest before this field spell because you can just activate it right away. Although it does have the weakest effect, and I didn't really activate all that much, but like there were times where I could have, I just didn't get it. If only this had a draw effect as well, that would be nice. Not just putting them on top of your deck, although I guess that does guarantee you a draw of something next turn. But still, like a draw right away would have been nice. Oh well. Anyway, there's also Fallen Sanctuary that also makes it Sanctuary. That also changes its name to Sanctuary in the Sky. This one is a bit slower though, because you have to set it and then activate it. Yeah. And since this makes itself Sanctuary in the Sky, you always just want to add a spell or trap that set a spell or trap that mentions that it has Sanctuary in the Sky directly from your deck. You never want to use these cards. You never want to use this card to set Sanctuary in the Sky. The only one you may is the Sacred Waters in the Sky, if you don't already have Sanctuary in the Sky or one that gives itself that name to your hand. But the thing about Sacred Waters is it's first going to ask you, do you want to add a card? If you don't have Sanctuary in the Sky yet, you want to say no to that. Because only after that will it say activate Sanctuary in the Sky from the deck. Like, I didn't realize that at first, and I kept having to add a monster that mentions it. Which definitely isn't that ideal when I don't have Sanctuary in the Sky in my hand. You want Sanctuary in the Sky in your hand, even if that means even if it seems like the worst pick out of this bunch, Sanctuary in the Sky is just so important in this deck. Unfortunately, all of the stuff that sets it or activates it straight from the deck, it has to do the normal one. Yeah, so there's that. And another thing is, if you don't have any targets for Fallen Sanctuary, like if you banished all your targets from Top Pop's eyes, it took a while, and now you like drew all your targets for Fallen Sanctuary, you can actually activate Fallen Sanctuary, which also means you can actually have this become Sanctuary in the Sky, since there's no way to activate it. So you need to have targets, else you can't. So that's another way that you could just fail in this deck. And of course this too, but this isn't that big of a deal because it doesn't become Sanctuary in the Sky on the field. Though I guess it still kind of sucks since you can't get into the graveyard. It's not very easy to get this thing in the graveyard except by activating it. There are ways, but if you already have it in your hand, you're probably pretty much screwed. Yeah. So there's a few pointers there. Anything else? Of course, I never saw Rebirth of Parshath, but I bet it still is really good. It kind of sucks when you don't have fairies in a graveyard for the Hyperions. Because, like, you can bring them out, but then you can't really destroy anything. And that's probably where, like, they best shine when you can actually destroy stuff. So, yeah, there's that. Um, so you can get unlucky even if you're able to bring out Hyperion. You just don't have any fairies in your graveyard. That also kind of sucks. I mean, he basically just becomes a beater at that point. Anyway. Oh yeah, and another thing I wanted to mention is you can also send this card to your graveyard with Divine the Herald in order to search for Sanctuary in the Sky. So it's another way to search for Sanctuary in the Sky. So that's pretty nice. And I would say definitely pick this over the Natis. Even if your opponent has stuff on the field, just because of how important it is to get Sanctuary in the Sky. Your first priority is definitely, if you have a way to get to Sanctuary in the Sky or get Sanctuary in the Sky on the field, do that. Try to make some other plays without it, but mostly you want Sanctuary in the Sky before you kind of begin your plays. If it's going to be hard, then maybe you need to make some plays without it, but I would say try. Definitely try. Also remember that Uranus can't be special summoned while you if you don't have Sanctuary in the Sky, it can't be special summoned. And it's not so easy to tribute summon it. So just remember that, because I kind of messed up by like thinking I would be able to normal summon him and activate his effect. But no, I forgot he was level 5. So you need to, I would say definitely remember this guy's level 5. And then of course, anything else I want to mention? Celestial Nightlord Parshath isn't a bad card. It also searches Sanctuary in the Sky as well. I mean, of course, the other one is nice too. And what's nice about Celestial Nightlord Parshath is some of your best fairies call for mention Sanctuary in the Sky anyway, like the Hyperions, basically, and maybe a few more, and a few of the agents also. So you can still, like, even if you don't have Sanctuary in the Sky, like, available right away, like maybe if you like have the trap card version of it and you have set it first, like if you're able to bring him out, he's still not bad if you don't control a Sanctuary in the Sky, because there's still a lot of good fairy targets you can add that mention that, like again the Hyperions or some of the agents. Yeah, and he has a pretty good special summon effect as well, I suppose. Oh, another way of being able to like special summon the Hyperions without actually needing to special summon them out. But you're probably gonna like be like special summoning them out with their effects anyway. But like it is a way to like not lose advantage with it. But it's pretty situational since you need to allow one of the other fairies to be sent to the graveyard. But I guess like putting them through link summoning also counts, so you can do it that way. So like maybe like if you already have a way of like being able to activate his effect, um then maybe you shouldn't although you'd still end up having to banish a fairy anyway. So I don't know. Um and then Protector the Agents. Protector the Agents, I would say, becomes a much better card when you can add Agent of Mystery Earth to your hand. Although there's a few good fairy targets you can send with the other effect, like you can send some of the Hyperions, the Master Hyperion, if you have a way of getting it back to your hand, like if you have the Chorus in the Sky. You can pretty much send whatever fairy monster you want to get back to your hand, which is probably going to be the Master Hyperion most of the time. You could even send the Earth and then get that back into your hand for basically the same thing. Or if you have Neptune, you could send one of your agents, and then if you still have Neptune in your hands, you can then special summon that. So it's not that bad. And then also the Hyperion is able to special summon himself from the graveyard. I don't know why the Master Hyperion isn't able to. I guess it was back in the day when they thought being able to special summon stuff from the graveyard is too strong. But yet I would say the Majesty Hyperion has the much worse effect. I think you would rather destroy cards on the field rather than banishing cards from the graveyard. I don't really use this effect. I mean, it is useful sometimes, though. It definitely is for those graveyard-centric decks. Anyway. And he does just swap the attack and defense, too, which also kind of sucks. I think I'd rather have more attack than defense. But there's that. And then I didn't really bring out. I don't really bring out the extra deck the Exceed monsters all that much in this deck. I didn't bring them out very much in the Rocket deck either. So I don't know. Like, I mean, Exceeds are definitely one of the harder monsters to bring out, I guess. I thought, like, the Synchros might be, but it actually is Exceeds. Since I guess, like, a lot of these have differing levels. Yeah. So I guess it makes sense that would be the Exceeds. I mean, even though I only have a few tuners, I believe you also have tuners in your X deck too. Yeah, you do have a few tuners in the X deck. So that does help facilitate synchro plays. But you do need tuners to bring those synchro tuners out, basically. Anything else I want to mention? Oh yeah, Neptune. He kind of makes gang fairies agents into your graveyard, or even Master Hyperion into your graveyard not so bad because you can just special summon them out. Even simply just special summoning the right agent can be pretty good. I think that's pretty much all I really need to talk about. Of course, Venus can help bring out another body. And Venus is basically a one card Protector of the agents. Oh yeah, and I forgot that this actually does count as an agent. So you can banishes with Hyperion to bring him out. So that's kind of cool. So you can like remember that, like maybe if you don't have like agents, but you can somehow bring her out. And also that the same thing with this one too. I believe, yeah, this card is always treated as an agent card, so you can send her as an agent, and then you not only get the bonus of adding a Sanctuary Sky, but you also get the double bonus of being able to use her as a way to special summon the Hyperions, which is also really cool. So yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I did have Herald one time, but I made the mistake of saying Natis because I didn't realize that she had that really good graveyard effect. See, this is why it's good for me to like practice so I don't make as many mistakes, hopefully, when I'm actually doing here. Yeah, one thing about this card is if you only had one fairy on the field and your opponent Book of Moons it, you don't get the draw. That probably seems obvious, but in case you didn't realize that, yeah. I remember that happening, and I just didn't get the draw. And draw can be really useful in these loner decks. Basic, yeah, like more than anything, since like they really only give you like one draw usually, one way to draw. They do give you a few ways to search, but yeah. I mean, this deck technically gives you two really good draws. Because it should be pretty easy to have a fairy on the field. So that's pretty nice. And then, oh yeah, see, and as I thought, like, I think it's really only the Rocket deck that gives you the magical cylinders and with the magic cylinder and the Mirror Force launcher with the Mirror Force things. I'm not sure if that's better or worse necessarily, because Mirror Force can be kind of useful. And I would say Mirror Force Launcher could be kind of useful in a deck like this. Like, if you have Neptune and then you want to send a fairy, an agent to your graveyard. I don't know, though. At least they all give you the scapegoat play, which can come in handy sometimes. At least the nice thing about this is, like, some of these say if there's a Sanctuary Sky on the field or in either graveyard. I believe all of them say like on the field or in either graveyard. So if you're running up against some kind of mirror match, or at least another deck that's running Sanctuary Sky, then you can probably even easier be able to get these effects off. But that, of course, isn't always going to be the case. I don't think that's going to be the most common. I think rockets are definitely probably... I don't think I really, like, face up against the fairy loner all that much. I guess maybe it's because it's so fragile. But, of course, I'll go over that a little bit more in the final video where I'm going over all the reviews of the decks and what I think about them. Anyway, I think that's about it. You pretty much already know why Crackdown is good, because stealing a monster is always good, like especially when you can use it for like either link plays or synchro plays. It's gonna be a little bit harder to be able to use the monster you stole for like synchro, or I mean, I guess it'd be easier. It would be easier to use that monster for synchro plays than for link plays. I guess you could also use it for exceed plays, since they're pretty generic exceeds, except for that one, but you have another level 4 one that is. But the links are a lot less generic in this deck, because they either call for lights or fairies, and then of course this one that calls for Specifically beast warriors, or wing beasts. So yeah, I would say like, and I mean, I guess like sometimes you may have to activate Crackdown. You can activate it before an important effect is activated, so they can't activate that effect, which is kind of nice. Or like you could steal it to use as material, but it might be best to wait until you have a tuner if you're planning to do it for that purpose. Anyway, and I think besides that, there's no really other way of like stealing cards from your opponent. Anyway, I think that should be about good. Okay, so now I'll start the duels. And like anything that I might have missed, you should hopefully see it in the in these few loner duels that I do. And then of course you can always let me know what you feel I missed. Oh yeah, how you win with this deck. Probably with the Hyperions mostly. And then you can like start just destroying your opponent's stuff. That's a pretty good way of winning. See, this is the problem with this deck, I would say. A lot of the times, you don't really get the Sanctioning Sky. It's... Even with some... Like, you might think, like, 5 is a pretty good amount. But, even with 5, that's still like 5 out of 40. A 5 out of 40 chance, basically. I mean, I guess I could just normal summon that. I guess that's my best. I mean, I could also... Yeah, no, I'm going to try to normal summon Ancient Miracles. Hopefully he doesn't destroy it. Hopefully my opponent doesn't destroy my Agent of Miracles, because then I can use it to tribute summon Entropy. Or should I go for the Link play? You probably never want to go into this when you can just go into her instead. You probably, since she actually has a useful effect. I mean, not saying that the Hit Potion again doesn't, but this is usually the first one you want to go into, the Protected Agents. Although the nice thing about Hit Potion again is it does give your Hand Trap a use as well, since the Ghost Ogre is light. So that's nice. That's not nice, however. So this is definitely not a loner deck. Because it was running Brain Control and the Ash Blossom, 2 cards are not available in any of the lone decks. And that's definitely not a loner deck card. So, I'm wondering about this. Hopefully I can get into Sanctuary Sky now and not the trap one that I have to set first. And it's honest. Can you negate stuff? I guess it can't negate the destruction, so I'll just Dark Hole. I should Dark Hole first. I would say if you have a choice between Dark Hole or Raigeki, if there's like an empty field, you want to Dark Hole first. Just in case later on, there's like you both have a field of monsters by the time you want to activate another monster destruction effect. Now you still have the Raigeki, so now you don't have to worry about destroying your own monsters later. I mean, I guess I can use this to attack, but should I use that to defend? I'm wondering. It's risky, but I think I have to. I think I have to set this. Because ideally I want to be able to keep a monster so I can tribute summon the Uranus. Since I don't have Sanctuary in the Sky. Man. If only Uranus wasn't a high-level monster. I guess they think that that Uranus has such a good effect. It's because, but they could have easily lowered his attack and then made him a level 4. I think that would have been better. Oh well. Dang, Raigeki, seriously? Pop's eyes is a little lucky. I pretty much need to activate it now in order to have any chance. Okay, I'll take that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna banish the Agent of Entropy from my hand. Yeah, so I still have targets in my graveyard. I might as well think Raigeki it. Oh. $1,500 attack to an offense. Does he even have one of them? No. Okay, so I'll just do this then. He doesn't have a target, that's good. Yeah. I'll go into battle. See, I could activate this. But I don't really want to until Sanctuary in the Sky. So I think I'm just going to end. And then hopefully my opponent doesn't have to have a way to get rid of Master Hyperion. But even if my opponent does, I can always add back to my hand with Chorus in the Sky. Okay, sure, I'll take a draw. That's nice. That wasn't a bad draw, but... Okay, there we go. Yeah, so... Here's what I mean. I'm glad I got it, because here's what I mean. So, first... It's going to ask you here... Wait, what? Oh, I must not even have a Sanctuary in the Sky. It must be in my... Yeah, there it is. So... Well, that... I was kind of hoping that... I mean, I could add an agent, but I think I really should add... Actually, what other agents do I have? I think all my good agents are gone. Okay, I'm just gonna add Master Hyperion then. So I mean, I could go... Oh, you know what? I shouldn't have done that, because then I could have just special summoned this one and then sent that. Yeah, I messed up. But that's okay. I think I'm just gonna end here. Actually, I could special summon his Clearwing Synchro Dragon. No, I don't think I will. I'll just end. I mean, technically I could go for the Link 3. Oh wait, no, I'm not going to. I'm just gonna end. Actually, I guess I could technically just set the Mystical Shine Ball. I think I'm gonna do that. Go ahead and destroy it if you want. And then I'll end. I can't attack because 1 day of peace prevents all damage, or else I could have gone game. But that's okay. Hopefully this time I can get game. Oh, okay. So now I can just banish a fairy to destroy that card. I also have this. Okay, so first I'll do the Master Hyperion. Banish the Honest. I don't want to banish the other card because I need that in order to summon out the Master Hyperion. Actually, I still have a way of getting them both into my hand. Oh, that's actually really nice, actually. Unfortunately, I can only really get the face-up cards, of course. Okay, and that's game. Good. So I got a win there, so that's pretty nice, and even with me getting a little unlucky, but it's also good that my opponents can get kind of unlucky too because of their Highlander. But I think I have a little bit more of a disadvantage because of how much I rely on the field spell for this deck. And there's only a few specific ways inside the X deck to get it, and you kind of need to have at least like 3 monsters in order to be able to get into those ways. And then one of them kind of puts you in a little bit of a disadvantage in order to get there. I'm talking about that Link 3 guy. And then the other one requires being sent to graveyard, so you kind of need Diviner of the Raw to even set that up. The level 5 agent synchro. I'm talking about there. But anyway, let's go into this next duel here. Man, I wish I could have shown you that example for that one card that like can either add a monster or a Sanctuary in the Sky, but hopefully this time I can show you it. I think that goes for any of the pick one. It's gonna ask you like if you want to add. Well, no, pick one where like it's either add or activate. It's gonna ask you about the add first, and then if you need the activate, just say no to the add. Or else then you can only do the add effect, the search effect. Okay, so once again, kind of unlucky, but at least a little less unlucky here because I do get the Agent of Creation, Venus. So I do get to automatically go into protected agents at least. This also helps filter out my decks too. So, and then in a deck where like I really need to get to Sanction in the Sky, it's actually a good thing that my deck gets filtered out a bit. So it's actually really good for multiple reasons. That was like probably the best case scenario if the Mystical Shine Ball was still in the deck. Anyway, if you have the choice, always go for Protector of the Agents. I would say. You most always want to go for that. And then this one, I have to send one. But you always want to say yes. You do want to activate it. Okay. So I don't want to do the Neptune. I could do Majesty Hyperion. I probably don't want to send any of my Sanction and Sky stuff. I think I'm going to send the Majesty Hyperion. Because I can specimen from the graveyard. Only thing about that is, I mean, I could go into Celestial Night Lord and then get myself a Sanction in the Sky. It has to be the original. Oh boy. I don't know what I want to do. How many agents do I have? Oh, I do have 2 at least. Okay, I'm just gonna send the Majesty Hyperion, I guess. Okay, and now I'll do the... What's this one? Oh yeah, tribute 1 fairy to destroy a card. Okay, so now I can spell summon him. I don't know if I should go into Celestial. I guess I should. Oh, I forgot the Protector also counts as an angel. Agent. So, actually, that's not so... So, yeah, I'll still have 2 targets after this. So, yeah, that's not too terrible. So, I guess I'll just go with the... I don't know if I should go with the agent in my hand. I guess since I don't actually need... Since I don't actually need... to have a fairy in my graveyard, which I will already, but yeah, in this case I'll go for the agent in my graveyard. So I have Mars still in my hand anyway. Okay. Oh, and actually this is good because now I can go for a Celestial Night Lord. I mean, technically, I could special summon out the Master... Go for Master Hyperion. I don't know. I mean, I know what I was saying, but, like, I don't really have the strongest hand, so I might need to go for it. Okay, which one is better to discard? I think it's going to be Cupid's Serve. Yeah, Cupid's Serve, I think. Okay. Well, at least I get to see all the cards I can add. Oh, I forgot that. Okay, yeah, good. You can't add any of... So, yeah, actually, this actually does have a lot of good targets. So, this is actually not a bad link at all. I could do Fallen Sanctuary. That lets me set another one of these. I think I should. I think Fallen Sanctuary is going to be my best bet. And then I can always go for this, well, go for this one, and then use this to get to Master Hyperion anyway. Yeah, so I'll go for Fallen Sanctuary. I think that's my best bet. Okay, now I can go for this, set this, And now N. Okay, that wasn't actually a bad start. So I didn't realize Ollie could add. He's actually a pretty good card, since he can add any of the spells or traps that can make them themselves be Sanctuary Sky. I thought he could only add Sanctuary Sky, but no, because he can add any card that lists Sanctuary Sky also, which includes the ones that makes themselves Sanctuary Sky when they activate it. So that's actually pretty nice. So I think I'll allow him to keep that. And then the Shien's Dojo. Okay. I want to see what all my opponent does. When this card is no summoned, you can... Okay, I think I'm gonna destroy the Heavy Storm Duster. I mean, destroy the two here. I wish it would say it can be activated this turn, because then I could set Ultimate Providence, and I get the Ultimate Providence able to be activated right away, but that's not the case. So still gets some advantage with that, getting to search for a 6 salmon monster. Okay, that's fine. Actually, oh, I'm too late. I'm too late. I should have already activated it. I messed up. Okay, so I better... Yeah, I better do this one. Now I can't negate it. That's unfortunate. What does that card do? Well, that sucks. Now I can just destroy. Fortunately, I do have Dark Hole, though, so that's actually good. But that protects it from being destroyed by a card effect. Oh, boy. Well, but only once, though, so I can still do something about this. So I think I can still get the win here. So I would say, like, now that I think about it, it actually is a good thing to try to get Celestial Night Lord Parshath out if you can, since he can search for so much good stuff. Either if you have Sanctuary Sky on the field, especially if you don't have Sanctuary Sky yet. You can search for so many of the good Sanctuary Sky-esque cards. And usually, the trap is pretty good if you don't need it, if you don't need it right away. Like if you're going first, the trap is pretty good. But if you really need the Sanctuary Sky right away, like one of the spells that treat themselves as Sanctuary Sky. But I think like the only spell that does that. So, but you can still get like Sacred Waters though, something like that. And then here. So I'm gonna go for a Dark Hole first. Okay, yeah, activating that, but that's okay. That's fine that you activated that, because now I can do Sacred Waters. But actually I could do a agent first. I wonder if there's a way to win here. Technically, I only have one agent, though. So I think I'm just gonna do... Yeah, I kind of want to do the Agent of Force. Okay, and now I can do the Sacred Waters. This way I get to at least gain 500 life points. And now I can add the... Ooh. Aw, man, I didn't realize I could have added the... Well, now I kind of have to add... Yeah, Master Hyperion. I forgot. That was not worth it. Oh well, it's fine. I guess I'll banish the Protector. And then I might as well do the Master Hyperion effect. And then I'll destroy the 6 Samurai card. And since this... Are you serious? Well, I can just do it again. There we go. Okay, get to add a 6 Samurai to hand. That's wow. Yep, that makes sense. Okay, so I could go into Hip Potion again. Okay, I think... Oh, actually, this isn't too bad. Oh, I have to banish that, though? Oh, you know what? I should have gone for that first, then. So you can add that. Crap. Dang it, I wasn't thinking. Oh well, I guess I still might as well do it. To banish the Grandmaster. Hey, but like I do have Divine Punishment, so that's not too bad. Hopefully that'll be enough. But yeah, I think after this duel, I'm gonna stop and go on to a multi-pack opening for those of you who are interested in that. Oh, well, that really sucks. I guess I'll just Divine Punishment. Oh, but I should have kept a fairy. I should have kept a fairy. Dang it. Oh man, I should have kept the fairy. No, 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 I don't want to lose. I mean, how much can my opponent have? Is that it? I don't think that's good enough for anything. Good. Good, good, it's not. Okay, good. Yep. Okay, good. That was still a game. I messed up a bit there. What I should have done is I should have left a fairy for the trap, so I could like negate so I still had a negate of an effect. But I got a little greedy there. See, you also want to like it's also pretty important to think about how to best manage your resources. Think about how many fairies you have, and then decide which effects are worth using or not using. I would say generally the Master Hyperion is the best effect, followed by the Trap Card effect is also pretty good because it negates effects. And then I think like you don't really need to activate the Majesty Hyperion unless you have some really good graveyard effects. But if you're like unsure, maybe just don't activate it if you still need those if you still need the other graveyard fairies for your other effects, like either the trap or the Master Hyperion on another turn. Yeah, because you can run out of fairies in a graveyard quicker than you think. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the duels and even the walkthrough for those who also watched that. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe if you did. I'm up to 15 subscribers now, so thank you to all my 15 subscribers who decided to subscribe. That really means a lot to me. I'll definitely aim to get better with my videos at like once I get to higher subscriber amounts. I'm thinking maybe my first goal could be like 200 subscribers, and then I can like start with like doing more and more to make my videos even more professional. But I don't want to say exactly what I'm thinking about. So definitely look forward to that, and you can help me reach my goal by subscribing. And also I can also look into live streams as well once I hit high subscriber amounts too. Anyway, I'll go into a pack opening now for those of you who are interested in that. And by the way, please also ring the notification bell if you want to be notified of my latest content. Okay, so now a multi-pack opening for the Legacy pack. And I realize I still need to post that pinned comment with the fusion reward stuff, saying what I did and didn't get, and maybe even the quantities of the cards I did get. I didn't forget about that, so don't worry there. It just takes me a little bit sometimes. Okay, so here's the 10 packs. So I shouldn't need to rush. It seems like I have plenty of time here. But even so, I think I'm just gonna briefly go through them as I'm opening them, and then hover over them afterwards. Okay, Giant Kozaki. Wow. Giant Kozaki was a pretty notable card for when you could play that self-FTK decks for quick medals. But now that you get 50 medals, only get 50 medals every time you lose, I don't think it's worth it. Followed by the fact that a lot of the self-FTK cards are banned anyway. And then Link Streamer can basically special summon itself when Link Monster is special summoned and something like that. But yeah, that's also a pretty good card if you want to like Link spam. But I think there's usually better in-archetype options for a lot of decks. I guess if you're playing a Cyber stack though, that it can be pretty good. As long as it's not something like Altergeist. Or like Salamangrates wouldn't play that either, since they already have other good ways of using their own cards to link summon. And besides that, I think a lot of their cards call for specifically Salamangrates. Falgran. Okay. Hidden Soldiers and Boot Escargot. Or Bot, I guess. It's a robot snail. Sword Hunter. That's a cool card name. I believe that was one of Joey's cards, but I could be wrong. Joy Wheelers. And then another rare, but I also got a hollow normal. That's cool. Okay, so here's all the cards. Underground Arachnid. That was a Dark Tuna in the anime, which they actually decided to do that sort of thing with Beartix. That's where they got that summoning method from. Where like you subtract instead of add in order to synchro summon. Yeah. I remember, I think this was one of those dark synchros in the 5D's anime. And then Felgrand Dragon. Yeah, it doesn't seem that great of a dragon, of a monster. This one's kind of cool. You get to special summon one of your level 4 lower dark monsters when your opponent knows or flips. Mostly it's probably going to be unknown. But I guess not every deck, you can't always rely on a normal summon. But I think you can rely on it well enough to be able to like activate most of the time. But you probably have better ways of special summoning. Just in the archetype itself. Especially with darks. There's a lot of dark support already. And then Rabid Horseman, Sword Hunter. Yeah, I think I don't know if that was a Joy Wheeler card. This one, it doesn't. I guess it's kind of cool. You get to equip cards that you destroy with this. Equip all those monsters from the graveyard to. Oh yeah. And then also gains a little bit of attack when it equips a monster to itself whenever it destroys something. So that's pretty cool. And then Doc J-Roid. It's kind of nice since it can be summoned by any way and still have a monster lose attack, but still not that great. And then I already talked about Kozaki. But yeah, here's why it's so good, because you get to inflict damage to yourself equal to his card's attack when basically on its normal summon. And then this one doesn't seem that great. It just does a little bit of burn, but usually that's not very good, especially when you have to give up one of your monsters in order to do it. And then FA Sonic Meister, one of the FAs, which I think this should be pretty good in Duel Links, but not, the FA's on is good here, but like FAs can be kind of useful. And then yeah, of course this one, if a Cyber's monster is on a special summon, you get to special summon data token. So this already has to be on the field. Oh. Still not too bad, but I thought like it special summoned itself in the hand, so not as good as I thought. This one allows you to like draw a card or increase the pendulum scale. So yeah, the draw isn't too bad. And then I gotta go through a few of these others a little quicker. There's the hollow. You can always feel free to pause, by the way. Oh, it's called Bolt Escargot. Monlavas. Curse of the Mass Beast, a ritual card for the Mass Beast. And then Changing Destiny and DD Recruits. So those are all the cards. Oh, that's another hollow. So I think my favorite card, probably Bold Escargot. Its picture is kind of cool, and also the name is kind of cool. So if you have a favorite card here or a favorite cards, just please let me know and why. Bye everyone.